Anubis, the Jackal at the gate. This is Kemet's obsession with order all the way through death, fully on display. So let's talk about what he meant. Now, Anubis really represents the need to control the uncontrollable, which is ultimately death itself. And in ancient Kemetic culture, death wasn't chaos. It got made into an administrative process. The body had to be preserved. The heart had to be weighed. The soul has to travel correctly. You got a map that you need to know where you're going. And there's an instruction manual when you wake up. They call it the Book of Coming Forth by Day. So this frames how they saw death in a lot of ways. So worshiping Anubis or Anpu meant believing that you could negotiate with morality or mortality through ritual precision. That he is more of the divine bureaucracy that could conquer decay. It's the same impulse behind modern people's obsessions with legacy or data backups, the fantasy that we can engineer a form of permanence. So he is the guardian of the barriers, a very unique role standing between life and death, mortal and divine, and the body and soul, and representing this human need for transitional figures who make these unbearable or unknowable situations seem more manageable. He's kind of the guy who's there to guide you. He is like your moral surgeon. In the weighing of the heart ceremony, Anpu doesn't punish, he just measures. And this is a crucial psychology. Like the Kemetic people didn't worship a god who demanded their worship through fear. They revered one who promised them simple things, justice through balance. That was a very important concept when you think about things like their structural mantra, as above, so below. That there is justice that happens. What you see in this world, you'll be treated fairly in the next world. The same kind of premise. And this made him a projection of the superego. He's the moral judge, right? He's not a tyrant. He embodies this ideal kind of internal lawgiver, precision. He's impartial. He's compassionate through his fairness. And even his color, this blackness is tied to the people of the Nile, right? Again, his father would be called the perfect black. So yeah, this is related partially to fertility from the silt of the Nile, but also to the people who, again, originated in the Sudan. And this is all about like rebirth. He is considered to be the shadow, the darkness that serves to keep the light on us. He's that constant reminder. And his symbolism of the jackal itself, that's not even random. Jackals hunted graveyards, right? They scavenged for bones. They were scavengers circling death. That's their role in the ecosystem. But by making this a sacred animal, the people of Kemet performed a collective act of integration, turned something fearful into something protective. So Anubis in a lot of ways becomes death in its most domesticated form. He represents the psyche's attempt to make peace with our own predatory nature, this instinct that we know that decay feeds upon. And whereas Western religion later demonized this form as a beast, that's what we see him as now, Kemet sanctified this predator as necessary to maintain divine balance, which is very important. He's also the embalmer through ritual, and the whole process of mummification is not just a technical process. This was psychotherapy that lasted for a millennium. Every time a priest of Anubis wrapped the body, they were enacting a denial of decay. It's really what they're doing. They're transforming horror into art. Death becomes this creative medium, and on a lot of levels, this is rejection of fear and discuss on a societal level. They're taking something that most people would look away from and making it something that was, more refined, that had, not just a sacred nature to it, but was clinical, that was clean, that was really understandable. And they really wrapped their hands around these concepts of death. And even now in later portrayals of Egyptian culture, we hear falsehoods, things like, death is only the beginning, because we were taking this idea, this glimpse of an idea of what they put out. Now, what he really does on a scale is represent this national anxiety about death and turning it into a cosmic order. Kemet saw their greatest enemies as entropy, right? The flood that destroyed the borders, the sand that erased the monuments, the body that was rotting. And this is how their divine administrator handled that entropy. He didn't conquer death through violence, he stabilized it through this ritual. All the people who took their strength and they knew that there was patience, there was continuity, there was sacred precision, and that was a healing factor when you lost your loved ones, knowing that they would continue on, and also knowing this mentally for yourself. So this inner Anubis was your own like inner mortician. He prepped you. He got you ready. You weren't afraid of him because he's kind of a nice guy, and we see that. So his worship is very particular because it takes on one of the largest cosmic concepts that humans deal with, something they're always uncertain about and most likely fearful of. So a very important figure, and we'll talk about Anubis or Anpu later, just in his relationship with the other 9 in the pantheon. Very interesting role. But I want to look specifically at his worship, what it meant internally, not only for each person but for the culture at large.